We begin at 5:30 with our special coverage, Station Fire Remembrance 20 years later. We want to give you a live look now at the memorial in West Warwick as the sun sets there. This is where the Station nightclub once stood. It was 20 years ago tonight, February 20th, 2003, when flames broke out at the nightclub during a performance by the band Great White. 100 people died, more than 200 others were injured. It was the fourth deadliest fire in U.S. history. Today we are honoring the victims and survivors, and we have team coverage of this anniversary. Our Sheena Losciuto has been tracking several of today's memorial events. But first, let's go to 12 News anchor Mike Montecalvo, who is live at the Station Fire Memorial in West Warwick tonight. Mike.
Hi, Kim. It's been a quiet day here. So many people coming, but really not saying a lot of things. Just going to the memorials and looking at the faces and the pictures of the people who lost their lives. It's getting busier right now with people getting out of work and driving by on Coesid Avenue. This beautiful park here cost about $2 million to construct. They're trying to raise money for the upkeep of the park. So tonight they're actually selling T-shirts. Something very simple. The foundation came up with a black T-shirt with the logo, but it's on the back side the names of the 100 people who lost their lives, and the proceeds from the sale of these T-shirts going for the upkeep of the park. One of the things the people on this foundation want everybody to know is they appreciate everything that first responders did. First responders put their lives on the line. We're talking police and fire. Scott Robinson was a Cranston firefighter 20 years ago. He was one of the first responders. This fire had a profound effect on his life. He now travels the country. He lives in D.C., now travels the country helping other firefighters respond to PTSD. The night of February 20th, 2003 is something former Cranston firefighter Scott Robinson will never forget.
No, I didn't realize how the fire affected me. I mean, I knew it changed me as a person, the things I saw and the things I did. Part of that was back to that whole mentality of like, this is what I'm supposed to do. It's my job, But it was probably 2006 or so that I noticed that it was creeping into my personal life and affecting my marriage, how I worked. I found myself isolating more at work before I sought help.
The horrific night took a toll on everyone.
I think back to 2003 that, talking about this, behavioral health when it comes to the health and safety of firefighters just wasn't done. We didn't talk about that stuff. We just had that mentality to suck it up. It's part of the job. It's what we get paid for. Things you're going to see are terrible. Just deal with it. It's not only because of the Station nightclub fire, but other incidents that our members have gone through that kind of opened our eyes that these have lasting effects. They leave scars on us. But back then, there wasn't a lot of programs out there. There weren't a lot of resources.
After the fire, Cranston started a membership assistance program, peers that were educated in listening and general assessment to get firefighters through the emotional times. Robinson now works as a behavioral health specialist in D.C. with the International Association of Firefighters.
We've worked with clinicians in the area, licensed clinical social workers, mental health providers, psychiatrists, psychologists, to create a network of providers that could help our members. Then we did that at a state level, with the Rhode Island State Association of Firefighters. But in 2016, the International Association of Firefighters started a peer support training program. It's been a live 2-day class training that we do. And we've taught that to almost 10,000 firefighters across North America. We've done a really good job, I think, across the country and in Canada as well, to start building programs that are there for our firefighters when they get back from these bad calls.
And so many firefighters that were here that night, they had obviously oxygen tanks on their backs. So many people saw the firefighters throw the tanks down to the ground. They had no oxygen left. Instead of picking up another tank, they ran back in the building to help save lives. Now, in addition to the 100 people who passed away here, more than 200 were physically hurt, but thousands of people have been emotionally affected by the fire. On Sunday morning, a massive remembrance for the victims and survivors took place at St. Kevin's Church in Warwick. The pews were packed for a Sunday morning mass led by Father Robert Marciano. Loved ones of victims, first responders, and local officials came together to remember the lives lost, those who survived, and the heroes from that horrific night. Among those in attendance, former Governor Don Kachuri. Now, he was governor at the time and stepped to the plate consoling families during the most difficult time of their lives. I asked him, what's the message 20 years later?
You never forget. That's what the message is here, and it's always raw, Mike. It never really leaves you. Anybody that was as impacted as so many people were. This is about the families today, those that lost loved ones, and so many that were injured. You don't realize how many people were injured, still alive. But then the tremendous response. Thousands of Rhode Islanders, you saw it, just came forward to do whatever they could to try and help.